The 1989 movie Best of the Best is one of my all-time favorite martial art movies, even to this day. And since that movie, I've been a huge fan of Eric Roberts. Enjoyed him in movies before that, but really loved Best of the Best. And I liked the sequel that he was in, Best of the Best too. And I've liked a lot of other things, Specialist with Stallone, Expendables with Stallone, Purgatory, where the Old West show. I mean, just he's been in a ton of movies, and an awful lot of them were great. I finally got a chance to meet him and spend some time with him yesterday, and it was a very pleasurable experience. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to Coffee with Alain. I have a John Wayne mug here today because I was playing cowboy yesterday, and that's how I met Eric Roberts on a set where he was also, a cowboy. And we'll get into that in a few minutes. But first, I do want to remind everybody, go to enjoylifesafely.com and get signed up for that newsletter. Lots of good stuff go out every weekend. Help you stay safe, enjoy life, and be exceptional. Got a lot of different things in there, all to help you have a more enjoyable, safe, exceptional life. So just go sign up, enjoylifesafely.com. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Vicky. Appreciate you being here. It's always good to see you. A lot of times, folks will meet a celebrity or a hero or somebody, that they know that's famous, and they will be disappointed. The person turns out to be not as nice or as giving as they thought they might be. Sometimes they're even rude or, a jerk. That is not the case with Eric Roberts. Eric Roberts was fantastic to meet. Just a great person, very friendly, welcome to take selfies with anybody who wanted to take them, answered questions to people, interacted with them, stayed positive about everyone. I mean, he made a lot of positive comments about people in the industry, and he didn't talk negative about anyone. And so it was just a really fantastic, pleasurable time to spend there talking with him about movies, about different things, and just positive all the way around. And that, I think, is awesome. And that's how I wish every celebrity experience would go with anyone. And I hate hearing from some people that meet someone and say, yeah, he turned out to be this, or she turned out to be that, and it wasn't a pleasurable meeting. Because definitely everybody that interacted with Eric yesterday had a great time and nothing negative to say about anything. I'm going to stop for just a second. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate Jay saying that it's a great newsletter. I'm glad you're enjoying that. Dixon says, pretty woman's brother. How cool. Yep. Eric is the brother of Julia Roberts. And John says, good morning. Good morning, John. Appreciate you being here too. And appreciate all of you joining and all the comments. And appreciate everybody that watches replays or listens to the podcast too. I appreciate all of you. So back to yesterday, we were filming a little film here in Montana. I have a very small part, and I wasn't in the scene with Eric Roberts. I'm in a couple different scenes, but, I was on set with him and got to chat with him during breaks and during lunch before he left for the day. And then I filmed my scene later in the afternoon, going back to do a little bit more filming on a couple of the little scenes because we didn't finish yesterday today. But, I talked to him about Best of the Best. And one thing that surprised me that I didn't know is I knew that Christopher Penn died, Sean Penn's brother, who was one of the 5 fighters in Best of the Best. But 2 of the other 5 have passed away since then, too. Eric was saying how he missed them and that he and Philip Rhee are the only 2 of the fighters left. It's like, wow, I didn't realize that. And he talked a little bit about the others that passed away and said that, Chris was just a great guy and he really enjoyed being around Chris, but he also enjoyed the other guys and he misses them. And it was sad that they're no longer with us. Talked about some of his favorite movies, Purgatory, which I mentioned earlier, which I really enjoyed too. It was a good Western. That was one of Eric's favorite movies. He said he just really enjoyed working on that. It was a fun Western. Star 80, we talked about that, one of his really early roles and one of his more memorable and he liked. And I told him how I didn't like him after that movie because he played the creep Paul Schneider so well that I didn't like him after that. And if you don't know that movie, it was way back in like 1980 or early 80s. Star 80 was a true story about Paul Schneider, who killed Dorothy Stratton, a Playboy playmate. And so it was based on a true story. There were a couple movies made about that incident, but one of the movies, Star 80, Eric Roberts played the creep, Paul Schneider. And he actually said after that movie, he would walk down the streets of New York or stuff, and people, women and things, people would see him. They'd cross the street and avoid him after that. But once Best of the Best came out, I forgot about Star 80, and he became, a great character in that movie, and I've liked him ever since. I have not seen every one of his movies because if you go to International Movie Database and check out Eric Roberts, I think that there's over 600 films that he has credit with, films and TV, and some like 80 in the works. He really is spending a lot of time helping smaller independent films, just like the one we're working on here yesterday. It's a small independent film, but he came, spent a day, did a scene, helping out these independent films. And I'm sure he's not getting huge money for this, but he's sort of giving back and he enjoys it. And so it's just a great guy going out and doing these. And if you look on the International Movie Database, there are a ton of films. And sometimes, he's been a lead star. Sometimes it's just a small little part. But, he always brings something to his roles. And, it was just great to meet him. He told stories about being recognized and famous, stories about, different directors and people that he worked with. And again, everything was positive. And I think there's a good lesson there for all of us. If you want to be exceptional, be positive, treat people well. He was very giving, very generous with his time and answering questions and interacting with people, commenting on, different people's costumes and dress and everything. It was just a really fun, great day. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity to finally meet him. John asks, are you able to use the name of the movie? Not yet, John. I'm not sure just what I'm allowed to say about the movie yet. I've been on some sets where they're like, you don't say anything or post anything. I'm going to post the selfie right after this on my Facebook wall and other places that I took with Eric, but I'm not going to say where it was or what we were doing. Just, keep that confidential because I'm not 100% positive on what they wanted. I do know they asked, not to take videos at all and to take pictures on set, although they said, if Eric lets you take a selfie with him, that's cool. Eric didn't want people taking pictures of him when he was working or videos of him when he was working or anything like that, which is understandable, but he was very giving as far as, taking selfies with people and that. And so, I just want to be cautious and I don't want to break any confidentialities with them and do anything that would upset them. So I'm not going to say that. In the future, when I'm allowed to, I will. It's a smaller movie. It's going to be going probably straight to Prime when it's out, like a lot of these independent movies do now. And so when it's out, I'll definitely let people know. And I'm looking forward to seeing it because when you're making something, you just never know how it's going to turn out actually when you get to see it. I learned that, doing Yellowstone, getting to see all the stuff they filmed with Yellowstone and then watching the episode and seeing how it all comes together and seeing just how much was never even used with the Yellowstone footage. But this is, like I said, very small, independent, be interesting to see. And I will let people know when it is out on Prime and available. But that's what I wanted just to share today. I thought it was just a cool experience. And remember, Coffee with Alain is about safety, enjoying life, and being exceptional. Part of enjoying life is doing new and different things. The whole reason I sort of got into Yellowstone, and now I've done a few other little TV shows, and now this little independent movie was on a like, that could be interesting to do. I should go try that. And it is led because the extra work on Yellowstone is where I met a friend, Mary. And it was through Mary that I learned about another show that I went to audition for and did not get. But at that show, I met a couple people that led to the Into the Wild and the Tales of Jim Bridger work that I did this summer, and being an extra and then a featured extra on a couple episodes. And it was somebody that I met there that also led to be invited to do this little role on this part. So it's funny how all of that sort of hooks together, and it shows, and it should be a lesson to any of us that don't be afraid to go do something. Try different things if you're interested, and they can lead to other things. And that's the nice thing about networking with people. Make friends, connections, be a positive, exceptional person, and things will build on it, and you never know where they might go. When I went down a couple years ago, it was the first season of Yellowstone, and stood in line at the hotel and got my picture taken and gave them my contact information, said I'm available to be an extra. I did not know that was going to lead to me meeting Eric Roberts, the star of one of my favorite martial art movies. But it did. And that's how things work. And so I want you to go out and never be afraid to try something, do something different, step out of your comfort zone, and lead a memorable, experience-filled, exceptional life. With that, I'm going to say goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow. Make it a terrific, getting tongue-tied. Make it a terrific Thursday and be exceptional.